From the Opopka Studios in Oklahoma City, this is an OSU update. I'm Jenny Carlson. West Virginia comes to Stillwater on Saturday to face the Cowboys, and it's a lot of familiar faces for people on both sides of the field. Gina Mizell joins us right now, and Gina, obviously returning coaches on that West Virginia sideline. Starts with Dana Holgorsen, the head coach who was the offensive coordinator at OSU, but that's not all. There's several other OSU coaches of the past that are now on that staff. What impact did those guys have on this OSU program?
Oh, huge. I mean, you look at Dana Holgorsen's offense that he installed here in his, 10 months in 2010. Yes, there are some tweaks to that spread system, but overall the base philosophies are the same. And really he transformed Oklahoma State into one of the top offenses in the entire country. So, his impact is still felt here in Stillwater, even though he was only here for one season in a very short amount of time. But yeah, you mentioned, you go down the list, and a guy like Joe Deforest, who was here for 11 years. He was brought in by Les Miles and was here for that whole rebuilding. And he was more of the special teams guru, which you still see kind of the leftover pieces of that with a guy like Quinn Sharp, who's still excelling in all phases of the kicking game. But he was obviously huge in organizing all the special teams units and was the associate head coach and also coached the safeties. Now he's the defensive coordinator with Dana Holgorsen at West Virginia. And, you even go down the line like guys like Robert Gillespie, who was the running backs coach here for a little while, and, coached a guy like Joseph Randall, and even a guy like Andrew McGee, who's a former cornerback at Oklahoma State, who's now a graduate assistant at West Virginia. So, there will be a lot of familiar faces. I'm sure a lot of, pleasantries exchanged before the game, and it should be really interesting to see how it all plays out with so much familiarity on both sidelines.
Well, you mentioned that familiarity, and I wonder if there's an advantage either way. Does OSU have an advantage because it knows those guys as coaches, or is it the other way, that the West Virginia coaches may have an advantage because they were at OSU?
Yeah, I think that might be a little bit overblown, but certainly it's a valid question because, like you said, these offenses, kind of mirror each other, obviously, because the base philosophies are all the same. And, Dana Holgorsen talked this week during his press conference in West Virginia about, having to kind of change up some of the hand signals on the sideline and those sort of things because it is still very similar, even though, like I said, there are some tweaks, with Todd Monken, and I'm sure Dana Holgorsen has tweaked some things as his coaching career has gone on at West Virginia as well. But if I had to lean one way, I would probably say that it's more of an advantage for West Virginia just because, they've been inside Oklahoma State as far as they know the personnel, they know the tendencies of the players, they know the strengths and the weaknesses, and they've, been inside those football facilities. Mike Gundy and his staff haven't been to Morgantown and haven't been inside the walls, I guess you could say. So I think it's probably a little bit overblown. I think, maybe the talent level and whoever comes up with the best game plan is going to win this game on Saturday. But if I had to lean one way or the other, I would say it's probably a little bit of an advantage for the West Virginia guys.
All right, something to definitely watch on Saturday afternoon. Kickoff is 2:30. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoma.